Hi, Mr. Waters.
How are you today? We can record this call, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll just walk you through what we're picturing for the day.
We will meet you outside with some cameras, if that's all right with you.
Like what, I'm just happening to be wandering in Sotheby's? I mean, that always looks so hokey.
The Sotheby's catalogs to me are like, I get them in the mail at a great deal of personal expense, and they are pornographic to me. I try to picture Cy doing this in a frenzy of art attack, really. I mean, actually, I'd like to steal this Hi, I'm John Waters, and I'm here today because Sotheby's asked me to come and explain Cy Twombly, as if the people that come to the auctions need explanation. Cy Twombly was my hero because in the beginning his work so infuriated people. Even some of the most learned intellectuals rise to his bait still. When I was a child, I went to the Baltimore Museum and I bought a little Miro print, and I was about 8 years old, and I took it home and hung it in my bedroom, and all the other kids went, "Oh, that's ugly, wow, you spent money on that?" And I realized the power contemporary art had. All great art is hated, and then it changes everything. I have Cy Twombly's prints. I have 5 Greek poets and a philosopher. His work to live with is great because it's, when you pass it every day, when you pass it, you think of his nerve. You think of the audacity of him doing this. And my father, who is not really a friend of contemporary art, I would say he does have contempt before investigation, as they say in AA. When he saw I bought it, he said, "You bought that? Oh, they saw you coming, boy." But he did understand it because for Christmas, he took out the cardboard in his shirts that came and wrote the word crazy, C-R-A-Z-Y. He was giving that to me as a joke about me buying contemporary art, but in reality, my father did understand it. It did speak to him enough to, my father never did one other artwork in his whole life. I first met Cy Twombly at the Locarno Film Festival when we were both asked to be on the jury. We got to be friends. When I left the film festival, I said, "Well, can I have your address? Because I send Christmas cards I make every year." And so he wrote down his address in that handwriting, instantly recognizable. Cy's work was beautiful, steeped in history, but it was defiant to what was thought of as beauty in contemporary art. He was subtly making you look at things that he thought were beautiful that maybe you didn't. I mean, who else celebrated bad handwriting? I love in the catalogs, they always show pictures of students learning the Palmer method. I think of the Palmer method as hatred. And I used to have to write, "I must not talk in class," over and over. Maybe Cy did too. I always say, I can read his scribbles. I did a whole presentation at the Smithsonian in Washington where I took letters of resignation, which are many, many drawings of what some would call scribbles and markings, and just said, "Well, I can read this, can't you?" And just made up whole stories. So I think that if you look at any Cy Twombly painting, if you really start to see it, you can imagine what those scribbles and what those words mean and make them speak to you and translate to yourself. I think that's part of the enjoyment of Cy Twombly's work. He got better and better. You know, so many artists, they say, "I like the early work." I liked his last work better than any of them. It was more violent, more insane, more anarchy. He always surprised me, Cy Twombly, right up to the end. Cy, the same thing I've tried my whole life, I've tried to work, and Cy was successful at this. He was never around assholes, and that is success. And I think that Cy, maybe, in a way, his work kept assholes away, really. They never came around him because of his work. And that is quite a badge to have as an artist, that your art can keep away assholes from you. How's that for a soundbite?